Chelsea Football Club, they're trying to separate us again. Journalists are coming out with a story now that Joao Felix publicly shows his frustrations by not being subbed on. But guess what? We see this video over here. Yes, exactly. We see this video here. He's super happy. He's with Pedro Neto. He's hugging him with Viega. And after they walk off, cuddling again. So can we stop this nonsense? We're going to talk about what happened and what the journalist is reporting. Yes, there is frustration there. However, it does not mean he wants to leave. Stop it. Furthermore, we need to talk about what's going on with Chelsea players pulling out of international duty. We've become a smart club again. We've genuinely become a smart club again. I don't care about international football until the tournaments start. I genuinely don't. And finally, it looks like Chelsea want a centre-half. The centre-half they're looking at, according to Fabrizio Romano, is Thomas Araújo. I'm going to tell you what I know about him. Not very much, but I went and got you guys some facts. So it's not my opinions, it's the stats that you need to know. And more importantly, who is he, where does he play, and why we've already tried to sign him in the past. But before we get started, I need you lot to hit the like button because it's the best way to support the channel. Secondly, subscribe to the channel if you're brand new. And thirdly, I've been hearing that some people get super chats now on these videos as well. So if any of you want to buy me a cup of coffee, in the comments below. It's not mandatory, but it's nice if you do it. So let's get started, man. The Joao Felix story is an interest. When we signed him, I got gassed. You all know he's one of my favorite players in world football. I just love the way he plays football. I like players that express themselves. I like their players that he'll nutmeg you. He'll take a shot from far away. He's not scared to lose the ball. He'll attempt a difficult through ball. But these days, we're not allowed to have players like that because it's all systemic. It can't express yourself. We need to make sure we win. Listen, I like to win. However, some of my favorite players were Ronaldinho, Ronaldo, Hazard. And the reality is, they will express themselves first before they cared about, oh, we need to make sure we win something. It was, can I express myself and entertain people and then win? And for me, that's perfectly normal. Joao Felix is one of those players. He really wants to express himself and it's obvious. However, he's stuck in a little bit of a predicament, right? He's in a B team. The whole emphasis of this B team is you need to perform here and then you'll stake a claim to start for the A team. However, Joao Felix, in my opinion, has performed. A lot of you are going to say, he didn't play well against Newcastle. You're waffling. You're absolutely waffling. Because if you go back and watch the game, he was one of the few players alongside Mudryk and Cucurella that were trying to do something. Trying to do something does not mean you have a bad game. Losing the ball when you're attempting difficult passes or where you're taking shots from far away does not mean you have a bad game. By that logic, Mohamed Salah, who takes 5 or 6 shots in a game and only one of them goes in, means he's having a bad game because he's taken 7 shots. And by your logic, he has to score every time he takes a shot. The threat of taking shots is important. It creates space for others, and Joao needs to improve his end product. However, this is where it gets interesting. The Guardian now is reporting that at the end of the game, when Pedro Neto, after Nkunku came on, Joao Felix took his socks off in frustration and dashed. Firstly, I get it. I absolutely get it. And he's on the bench. He wants to play. Cole Palmer's stinking out the game, in my opinion, which he was. And Cole Palmer didn't get taken off. And for me, this is a problem. You have Nkunku, who costs a lot of money, who is a very good player. Joao, who costs a lot of money, is a very good player. And they're not getting opportunities when players that are starting for the club are not performing in a certain amount of games. I'm not saying Cole Palmer should not be playing. I'm not stupid. But I am saying if he's having a bad game, the option to take him off needs to happen. Manchester United, he wasn't having a great game. It didn't happen. Liverpool, it didn't happen. You have options in your squad so you can refresh. So you can update the lineup. You can try something new. Noni Madueke hasn't been good for 3 weeks. I don't expect him to start the next game. It has to be Neto. And if you want to go with Sancho, you want to go with Mudryk, you want to go with Felix on the left-hand side, please do it. This whole narrative that he's upset, he's frustrated, he doesn't want to be at the club is waffle. And this is what the journalists are going to try to do now. They've started it with Nkunku, where he's frustrated, which is understandable because he's too good not to be playing. Joao will get frustrated, but it does not mean he doesn't want to be at the club. You saw at the end. Do not question that because he's there with Neto. He's hugging him. Him and Viega literally are celebrating as if they played the 90 minutes. You could see it in that video. It is evident for all to see, and I'm not going to have people run an agenda because it's unacceptable. I love the way Chelsea's rehab team is handling these injuries and players because player health could be the one thing that derails our season, and the the club is not making sure that, doesn't happen. Because Wesley Fofana, who in Enzo Maresca's words, for the rest of his career, is going to have these issues. He's going to have to learn to play with them, and he's going to have to learn to play through pain. Well, he's decided that he's not going to go on international duty, and this has come from Chelsea. They said, look, he needs to be withdrawn. He's got inflammation in his knee, and the reality is we have to rest him. Phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. We pay his wages. In my opinion, he's going to sit on the bench because in front of him, there's Konate and Saliba. We know how Deschamps runs his organization. The players that have played before are going to be the ones that play now. You literally need to do your time on the bench. For me, if there's a minor risk for Wesley Fofana, do not play him. And for me, Wesley Fofana has been having a very good season. People want to say, no, he hasn't had a very good season. He's made a mistake here and here and here. Virgil van Dijk, after his one injury, came back and looked a shell of himself. Fofana's had 3 of them. He's come back and we're seeing moments more consistently out of the former man he used to be. For me, we have to make sure this guy is wrapped up in cotton wool. We look after him and we make sure that he is ready for every Premier League game. I don't care about the Conference League. I don't care about the FA Cup. Make sure this gentleman is ready for Chelsea Football Club when it's essential. The 3 points. And at the end of the season, we look at how many games he's played and how fit he was. 2 other players have withdrawn from international football. Number 1 being Cole Palmer. We know Cole Palmer was not fit. Against Manchester United and Arsenal, he was not fit. He genuinely was not fit, and you could tell by the way his touches were, the way he wasn't getting involved in the game. He got marked out the game, he was getting frustrated, and now he's pulled himself out the England squad. Lovely jubbly. Levi Colwill, he's pulled himself out for the England squad as well. This is phenomenal. A lot of people are going to get annoyed. They're going to say, oh my God, players don't want to play for their country. I couldn't care less. The reality is this is the Nations League. This is for the B tier of the Nations League as well. England can't win the Nations League. You need to be in Group A to make sure you go through to the semi-finals and then the final. They're in Group B. There is nothing for these players to gain by going there and trying to play in these 2 games and then getting injured. For me, Chelsea comes first above England. So Chelsea comes first. Both players, sorry, you're not going. Phenomenal news, and both players need to be rested, take a week off, come back, get ready for that Leicester game. It is massive. Speaking about centre-halves, and this is where it gets very, very interesting, because Chelsea Football Club are looking at a centre-half, according to Fabrizio Romano, and they are in love with him, called Thomas Araujo. Thomas Araujo is a 22-year-old ball-playing centre-half from Benfica. The videos I've seen of him, he looks decent, but there's only so much you can tell on videos. But furthermore, I don't judge these directors anymore when I hear names because they do extensive research. Renato Vega was a player that we paid 12 million for, great squad player. I think Tosin is a good bench player. We've went and found gems where there weren't gems in Malo Gusto, in Nicholas Jackson, in Cole Palmer. I'm not judging these men anymore. I'm genuinely waiting for the players to come through the door before I actively say whether I like the signing or not. Just like I did with Disasi. After day 1, I said this guy is not good enough for the club. And with other players where I looked at him, I said, you know what, I can see something there. I see why you purchased him. At this moment in time, I'm going to tell you what I know about Thomas Araujo. He is a Portuguese player. He has never played for the first team. He is 22 years old. He played for the Palmeiras Youth Academy, went to Benfica B. From Benfica B, he moved to Benfica A, went on loan to Gil Vicente. I think I pronounced that right. My wife's going to tell me after. And finally, he moved across to Benfica. And when he came back off loan, this season he's played in 12 games, 1,100 minutes nearly. And genuinely, the guy's a rotation piece, starts here and there. Anyone I've spoken to that's a Benfica fan about him, the hype's not massive. Genuinely, it's not. It's like, yeah, he's good. He's no Antonio Silva. So that's all we can take away from it. However, my question is why are Chelsea looking for new centre-halves? Well, one of the things would be, you've got Colwill, you've got Fofana. For me, they're the starters. You do not deviate from that. You build until the end of the season and you see how they develop, and then Enzo Maresca needs to make a decision. Do we go with those 2 plus Tosin and Alsan Mino, who comes in? This kid's been playing for Boca Juniors. Or does Alsan Mino go on loan to Strasbourg, the way the original plan is, and we sign another defender? For me, that just blocks the pathway. What's happened with me now is, if a bid comes in for Disasi or Badiashile, both can leave. Whilst I can see the potential of good players in Badiashile, for me, he makes too many mistakes. He needs time to iron out these mistakes. That happens by him playing consistent minutes. I don't see that happening at Chelsea. Furthermore, with Disasi, we should have never signed him in the first place. There's going to be this myth that he was our best centre-half last year. Listen, availability does not make you the best centre-half. Just because you're available does not mean you're the best one, okay? Mistakes were made by him a lot. We can see the 63 league goals last year, him playing a huge portion of that season. For me, he is not good enough. We were significantly better when we had Trevor Chalobah and Thiago Silva at the back. People won't agree with that. However, it is what it is. Guys, this was the Kavkas View. I hope you lot enjoyed this video. I just want to say one thing. There's going to be a lot of news coming out in the next week or so because there is no football club related wise. Journalists are going to put it out. Not everything we hear, we need to believe. I'm going to be here to shut it down, tell you what to panic about, what not to panic about. But this was the Kavkas View. You guys want to go see the news regarding Nkunku and his public threat to Chelsea through his agents? Yeah, it was actually kind of big. Go check it out. Let me know your thoughts. Peace out. I'm out.